Hello there, Queen Ira here, the 13th Nigerian Queen. Welcome to my advocacy talks. Right here I talk about my advocacy, and I really do hope that at the end of the day you go away with something or with an understanding that will make you be a better person in your own society, influencing your community positively. For you all out there watching, know that aside me coming to you with my advocacy, you yourselves are advocates for a better life. So do make sure you try in your own little corner to change the world around you. You are the change you wish to see. Thank you so much for joining me so far. Thank you so much for sticking with me. And right now, let's get into the talk for today. In my past episodes, I spoke about value. I said it may not be true, or it may not be easy for one to be able to impact value into another person, because value should be innate. It should be an understanding that you have of yourself, something that you know you are, and then you tend to walk in that light when you're dealing with society. But like I also said, sometimes you as an individual that understands value, you need to be able to impact that into other people who do not understand their own value. And the thing is, there are so many ways that we can understand our values. There are so many ways that we can begin to see ourselves as valuable. And for the less privileged in the society, the economically depraved and the social outcast, another way for them to know is by understanding what their human rights are. Yes, what are the human rights? They are basic human rights for everyone across the globe, for human beings. As long as you're human, as long as you have air in your lungs, you're living, you were birthed on this earth by a woman, okay? You are human, you have human rights. Now, these rights, upon understanding it, would give you a sense of what your value is. And I really do hope that we all in our own corners can begin to, shed more light on what these human values are, especially to those in our society who, one, may not know about what these human rights are, two, may not be in the space to understand that this applies to them, that they do not need to have any social standings for them to actually, have rights to this rights. Now, what are the human rights? I'm going to just list off a few right here with me, and we can go from there. So we have the right to life. This simply means that just for the mere fact that you are human, you have the very right to your own life. You have the right to live. You have the right to coexist with other people in a society. You have the right to breathe the same air. No one has the right to take your life from you. That is your right to life. You have the right to, to protect yourself when anybody wants to harm you, because you have the right to life. In self-defense, you can protect this life that you have. It is your human right. Now, two, the right to freedom from torture and inhumane treatment. We all know that sometimes in our society we come across people that we tag criminals, or should I say they are criminals. But even with the fact that they've committed a crime or two, they have the right to be treated still as humans. They have the right not to be tortured in their society, or even when they are locked behind bars. There are laws that protect you. You do not need to go under any sort of inhumane treatment for, certain things to be discovered or known about you, especially if it has to do with criminal activities. Now, this is not me excusing, criminals that we have in our society. Every society has them, okay? But the moment you begin to say, because this person is a criminal, it should be treated in an inhumane way, you're forgetting the fact that he's human. And then the moment somebody who's suspected to be a criminal, not yet known or truly established to be a criminal, but the mere fact that the person is suspected to be a criminal, it gives room for those people to be treated in a bad way. So you have the right to say no to torture and inhumane treatment, and you have the right to get yourself out of that situation. There are laws that actually protect you if you find yourself in that kind of situation. Now, we have the right to equal treatment before the law. Irrespective of who you are, where you're from, your background, either you're a social outcast or not, either you are rich or poor, you have the right to equal treatment as long as the law is concerned. You know, a lot of people from experience and observation in the society, this is a society that does not uphold the law. People do believe that. But also on the wake of this belief are people who fail to use the law when they need it. People who, with this belief and with this mindset, they do not even try to apply the law in their situations. They try to look for the easy way out. Now, the more we continue this, the more the law would not work for us. So whenever you find yourself in a situation that is, unfair, and you feel like, you need to be defended, take it to the court of law. Give the judiciary the opportunity to actually, the right decision on your behalf. It's not enough to assume. I know, yes, it's true. There's situations and there are people who have come up with their stories, real life happenings on how the law didn't work for them. But we are not going to stop. We're not meant to stop. We're not meant to see it as, the norm. We have to always keep fighting and keep challenging the status quo for things like this to change. So it does not matter who you are, how rich or how wealthy or how poor or how, as long as you're human, you have a right to equal treatment before the law. No one has the right to oppress you with the law. And the way that people can know this, the way you can know this and you can defend yourself and those around you, is by actually understanding what your rights are. Know what your rights are as a citizen. Know what your rights are as a Nigerian. Know what your rights are as a human being. Another right I would like to talk about is the right to freedom of thought, religion, opinion, and expression. Freedom of thought, religion, opinion, and expression. I did touch on this a while back where I said that people who have different opinions to you do not necessarily hate you. They're not necessarily your enemies. They just have a different opinion. They just don't see things the way you see it. And that does not make them evil or bad. That does not mean you should try to, get rid of them. No. And this is something in a country like ours that we have to fight every day. Even from an unconscious, biased mind. We really need to learn how to fight this. Every single individual has the freedom of thought, religion, opinion, and expression, as long as those things are not infringing on the rights of other people, nor causing harm to other people. This is a right that many overlook in their bid to try to make everyone just as they are. But we forget that there is a reason why we are different, why we are diverse. There is a reason why we are not the same. So if you're out there and you know anyone in any situation and it seems the person's rights are being trampled upon, it is your duty, having known better, to step in and say no. Trampling on one person's rights is the same as trampling on my rights, because tomorrow if I'm in that situation, or if a family is in that situation, or if a friend is in that situation, this is the same thing that will be done to them. So wherever it is that you are, always try to ensure that you're allowing others exercise their rights, especially in your community. Another right is the right to work. The right to work. Now, in our society, Nigeria, many of us may not know this or may not see the need to, impact this in our society, because we are very used to hustle, hustle, hustle. We have the hustle spirit. We have the Nigerian winning spirit. We believe that we must always hustle, hustle, hustle to get ahead in life. Now, there's no problem with hustling. But having the right to work is simply saying that you also have the right to favorable conditions that would help you be gainfully employed. Now, how does this affect the everyday man on the street, the less privileged? How does this affect the social outcast? How does this affect the economically disadvantaged? Just by the mere fact of their being in these positions, they already do not have favorable conditions for work. The conditions already are not in their favor. They are not even protected or further enlightened on various works they can do. And this, in so many cases, leads them to become nuances in the society. Not by their own doing, but by the limited options available to them. Now you may say, well, it's nobody's fault if they can't get jobs. It's nobody's fault if, they can't, hustle to get out of that situation. But what conditions are present to enable them to do that? At this point, I would like to say thank you to all of the organizations that actually take out their time to ensure that they provide, the less privileged and, people out there with skills that can help them come out of their situation. Non-government organizations that do this steadily, day in, day out, month in, month out, year in, year out, committed to the less privileged in this society, training them on skills so that they can be active members and contributors in their own society. Thank you so much to all of those organizations who do this. Now, the thing about the right to work and all of these other rights is that at a point when people do not know of these rights or understand what these rights are, you still tend to question what your value is. But these rights are there so that as you're encountering of what these rights are, you begin to understand the value of yourself as a human being. And this is something that can't be taken away from you, shouldn't be taken away from you. And we all need to work together to ensure that we have a society that not only upholds human rights, but also ensures that every single person in that society has the opportunity to grow in that society. I believe that the people who are mostly underserved in our society are also those who do not even understand what their basic human rights are. They do not know the power of their rights, and they do not know when to stand on their rights, when to request for what is rightfully theirs. And sadly, most of them do not even know what these rights are. The most important right, or should I say the right that has the top priority as long as human rights goes, is that of education. And we have lots of people in our society who do not have access to education or access to good education. Lots of children and young people in the society today do not have a good education, and those who are willing to even further their education do not have the means to. Education is the bedrock of understanding. Without education, it will be really, really hard for people to integrate themselves in the society where they are established. And this is because in that society exist people who are also educated. And when we have people that are educated with certain understanding of things, and then we have people that are uneducated with another set of understanding of things, it's quite hard to reconcile the belief that we all are one and the same. So we all, with some sort of better understanding, have the obligation to ensure that those around us, those who do not know how to defend themselves, or who do not understand or know what their rights are, we become mouthpieces for them. We speak on their behalf, and hopefully one day they can understand what it is to be human just by knowing their human rights. From there is a beginning and understanding of the relevance of self. The relevance of you in your society, the importance of you as an individual, as one person in your society. So, as we all go about our daily life, let's not forget the importance of the basic human rights. Let's not forget that every individual is as human as we are. We all are one and the same. Our opportunities may differ, our positions may differ, a whole lot of things may be different. But the one thing that should always remain the same is our humanity. And we can begin to influence the standing of the less privileged in our society by enlightening them on what their rights are, so that they can begin to feel like they are a part of this society. They can begin to see the value in themselves. Let's not forget that we need to always speak up when we feel an injustice is being meted out to those that are the less privileged in the society. Let's speak up for them so loud and far till they understand that yes, they are part of our society. Thank you so much for joining me on this episode of Advocacy Talks with Ira. Do not forget, like, subscribe, and turn on post notification for when my next video comes up. Until later, be good, do good. Remember, you're human. We are all humans, and we should live in an inclusive society, a society that has room for all, irrespective of your social standing or your economic standing in the society. The world is as much yours as it is mine. Until later.